The voice on the other end belongs to a stranger, someone he calls to discuss a plan, a strategy, maybe even a second chance at life outside those concrete walls. But the longer he talks, the clearer it becomes. He doesn't miss his family. He misses his freedom. Tonight, we'll break down that call piece by piece, pausing where the mask slips, where his words twist, and where truth becomes performance. So turn up your volume and listen closely, because this isn't just another prison phone call. This is the sound of a man still trying to win a game he already lost. Here's how it begins.
Not too bad. Thanks for taking the call.
All right, so just talk to me. I don't want to be the one monopolizing the conversation. So tell me what you want to know from me, or just tell me what's on your heart.
Well, just going into law library as much as I have, I see a lot of cases. I've heard a lot of cases around here. I've seen a lot of cases where the DA or the judge have had a lot of misconduct, but the judge has ruled, say, well, it's not egregious enough, or it's not that that wow factor enough to really sway in the defendant's favor. Now, I'm looking at the things that I know. I mean, I've never dealt with a lot of people with all this. I mean, I'm winging it in the law as I am, and God directed me through little things like through the poisonous tree, the Brady law, and different cases that just they pop out of nowhere. But I know what God put in front of me, and I see all these things that relate to my case. I just don't know how to frame this. Where like when I do this 35C, I've had this paperwork with me for probably a couple months, and I know I only have a year left to appeal some of those Class B and C felonies at a 3-year limit or 2-year limit, and I really want to figure this out where I can do it in the right time frame, but also not rushing anything. And I just want to get out of here. I know that God has a plan for me, and it's to be in prison right now, but not stay here. Because He brought me here for a reason. But He also wants me to do something on the outside. I know I just can't sit here and just wait. I know there's waiting, doing nothing, and there's waiting that seeking an action, or that's what I'm doing. But I also want to know what action to take, because I have no intellect when it comes to the law. But I know He can teach me, and that's what I'm just waiting for. Things that fall into place, I still know how to do it.
I got you. And you don't have the benefit of an attorney that is in your hip pocket, so to speak. Okay. I've got a couple of attorneys here I can talk to that can maybe help get some good results, get some good advice for you in terms of forms and what to say, things like that. That's not going to be an overnight process for me to get the results we want. It's going to take some time, but I'm not saying overnight, but I am saying maybe several days or a week or so. So let me see what I can do along those lines. Because I know you're in a tough spot, and it's how do you know how to do something when you don't know what it is you need to do? So it's tough. So I get it.
It's trial by error thing, but I know when the law is like, all right, you're gonna run into certain things where the motion's gonna get denied, or whatever I write down, the judge might think, well, that's not what you're claiming isn't enough to go back to. You're not warranted a trial. You're not warranted to have this appeal granted. Denied. I was like, well, what do I do then?
Yeah.
And I don't want to get disheartened when that happens. I know it'll probably happen at some point, but not all motions are all appeals or granted right off the bat. That's why I want to make sure I write this the right way. Where when it goes there, they see oh well, do I put everything down that I know, or just I don't want to put everything down so they know everything that I'm on,
Welcome to Dark Matters, True Crime, the channel where every case drags you deeper into the unknown. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we explore the darkest corners of the human mind.
The prison corridors hummed with their usual fluorescent buzz, but something in the air felt sharper, like the atmosphere itself knew that the quiet wouldn't last. Officers exchanged low murmurs, not the casual shifts almost over mumbling, but the type of whispers that rise when a storm is coming. Chris Watts had become that storm. For years, he floated through Dodge Correctional like a ghost. Compliant, polite, eerily soft-spoken. Inmates ignored him. Guards tolerated him. The world outside despised him. But Chris remained Chris, the same unervingly calm presence who rarely raised his voice, rarely made demands, and rarely betrayed an emotion strong enough to disturb the mask he wore. And that mask had become a problem. A big problem. New information, something sealed, something suppressed, had leaked from a quiet corner of the system. It slipped through the cracks like smoke, reaching places it was never meant to travel. Guards heard it first, then the warden, then the special security team that only mobilized when a high-risk inmate was about to snap, or be snapped in half by someone else. One guard put it simply during briefing, "Watts ain't as quiet as he pretends. He's smart enough to hide things, and we just found out he's been hiding a lot." They tightened surveillance, increased his checks, restricted his movement. Every camera pointed toward Chris now, waiting, studying, listening. Because someone inside the prison claimed he wasn't just being watched. He was communicating. Secret notes, smuggled conversations, strange symbols scratched into the underside of a metal bunk. Messages to someone who shouldn't exist. Someone Chris allegedly told other inmates was helping him finish what he started. That rumor was enough to trigger a facility-wide alert.
He says, "I want to make sure I write this the right way." It's subtle, but that line reveals everything. He's not reflecting on the lives he ended. He's reviewing his mistakes in procedure.
Well, okay, let me address a couple things in what you just said. First of all, you live in a closed society now. Every door is shut in your face. You cannot go from you go to one wall, you can't go further. You got to turn your left, you can't go any further. So, you know what I'm saying? You're in this perpetual, in this room with no door, so you cannot get through. You got that? You understand that? What I'm trying to say? So your world is controlled. You hear the word no probably more than you hear the word yes in that system. So one thing you need to be very accustomed to is being denied, being turned down, being told no. You with me?
Yep.
Okay. Now, some people will lose hope very, very quickly because everywhere they turn, every time they talk to someone, they're hearing things they don't want to hear. They're being told no. You can't do this. You can't have that. You can't go here. You can't go there. You know, whatever legal action you're trying to do.
The attorney call may be monitored and recorded.
Whatever you're trying to do, you're always being told no. What you can't do is allow yourself to lose hope. Don't take no for an answer. And don't give up the first time you're told no. You understand?
Yeah.
So the key in all this is you got to be strong. You've got to be physically strong. You've got to be mentally strong. And you've got to understand that, you know what? You're the underdog, but underdogs can win. They can be a dog in the fight. So I want you to get this attitude that no matter what you do, we're not going to take no for an answer. They tell us no, we're going to try again. They tell us no again, we're going to try again. You just got to keep persevering and don't lose hope, okay? Because I'll tell you what, you lose hope, you lose your life. All right? So just keep a positive attitude about all that and don't take any steps back. Just keep moving forward. even if it's a small step, move forward and not backward. Okay?
Okay. Just like in my devotional today, it was Esther. It was a door of hope. And yes, the Lord was speaking to Esther. And she was saying to the Lord, I've led you to the wilderness, but I will plant in that wilderness vineyards. If you're going through the valley of Kor, which is the valley of trouble, I will put a door of hope. So even though you're in a wilderness, you're going to plant vineyards in that wilderness. So you're in the valley of trouble, it's going to be a door of hope in that trouble.
That's great. Well, I'm proud of you. Good job. Keep that up. Keep your nose in that book too.
Did you hear that? The man on the other end just told a convicted family killer that he's the underdog, that he can still win if he keeps fighting. That conversation wasn't about redemption. It was recruitment. An emotional pep talk to a murderer who already believes he's been wronged.
Meanwhile, Chris sat in his cell, hands folded, eyes calm as glass. Like a man who had nowhere left to go, yet still believed he might find a way out. A way forward, a way into something darker. This wasn't the quiet inmate the world thought they knew. This was someone exposed. And guards now whispered a new name for him. Smart Chris. Not because he was intelligent, but because he was calculating and cornered. And when a cornered man starts planning, danger follows. The discovery wasn't dramatic. No alarms, no shouts, no scrambling guards. Just a routine sweep of Chris's cell, one of the hundreds conducted since the strange rumors began. But this time, Officer Ramirez paused. He noticed something off about the underside of Chris's flimsy state-issued mattress. Not a bulge, not a tear, just the faintest scraping sound when he lifted it, like paper resisting. Ramirez frowned, slipped his glove inside, and pulled out a folded note sealed with toothpaste, the prisoner's glue of choice. Inside, for lines. For sentences that rattled even the most seasoned officers. It's almost ready. They won't see it coming. She told me what to do next. You know who I mean. That was it. No signature, no target, no explanation, just a message loaded like a weapon. When the warden read it, he went still, because everyone in that room knew exactly who she might refer to. The one figure Chris's defenders and conspiracy theorists whispered about. The only person whose name still lights up dark corners of the internet. Nicole Kessinger. Ramirez exhaled sharply. Warden, this can't be real. She's been gone. What? 6 years. Disappeared. The warden corrected quietly. Not confirmed. Not cleared. Just vanished. And now this. A note implying she was still involved or that Chris believed she was. Either possibility was dangerous. The prison immediately moved him into restricted monitoring. A guard outside his cell 24/7. Every word recorded, every movement reviewed. But Chris didn't argue. He didn't panic. He didn't even blink. He simply looked up when the guards took the note away, a faint, unsettling half-smile brushing the corners of his mouth, like someone who knew exactly what they were about to find next. A smile that whispered, "You're already too late." Moments later, the prison went into internal lockdown protocols. Whatever Chris was involved in, real or imagined, had just become a full-blown security threat. And in the silence of his cell, with guards rushing outside, Chris finally whispered his first words in hours. "She told me you'd react like this." The prison's investigation unit dug into the note immediately, but before they could trace its origin, something else dropped into their laps. A discovery even stranger, even darker. A phone call, not a recent one. Not something logged in Chris's monitored communication records. This was different. It came from an unauthorized recording found on a confiscated burner phone from another inmate. A device smuggled in months earlier. A device no one realized had stored files before its seizure. At the very top of its audio folder, labeled only as C.W_private, sat a 56-second clip. They pressed play, and the room went still. The audio was grainy, the signal distorted, but the voice was unmistakable. Breathy, nervous, whispering like someone afraid of being heard. "Chris Watts, I told you it wouldn't work unless you gave me more time. A pause. Faint exhale. Then a second voice, a woman's voice. Soft, calm, almost rehearsed. You didn't need more time, Chris. You needed nerve. And you waited too long. No one in that room had heard this voice before, but they all recognized what the public would think it was. Nicole Kessinger. The investigator replayed it 3 times, forehead creasing deeper each time. But there was more, something far more disturbing. At the end of the clip, Chris's tone changed. His breath hitched. His voice dropped to something fragile, unsteady, almost childlike. Will you be there when it starts? And the woman answered, I already am. The recording ended with a soft click. The investigator leaned back in his chair, a shiver marching across his spine. No inmate should have had this call. No inmate should have been able to make a call like that. And no one, not one person, had any explanation for when it happened or how it got on that phone. But the timing, that was the problem. The metadata on the file was clear, recorded 8 weeks ago, well after Nicole had supposedly vanished, well after Chris had been locked down from all external communications, well after any legal contact was possible. The warden wasn't superstitious, but even he whispered under his breath, this shouldn't exist, but it did. And now every guard, every investigator, and every official connected to the case was asking the same terrifying question. If this call was real, then who exactly has been speaking to Chris? Before the shock faded, a guard burst into the room with new intel. Something from Chris's cell, found hidden inside a hollowed-out Bible. Another note, another message, another reason to panic. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Dark Matters True Crime. Your support keeps these deep dives alive, and tell us the country you are watching from.
Well,
Yeah.
I just know that, like, I've never experienced anything like this before. Like, from the tragedy that happened, from the law enforcement to the interrogation, the jail, the prison, all this was new. All this was new. And I know that, even though I've never had something like this happen before, I knew the shock and the trauma was there in my mind. I didn't know how to process it. Every question that they asked me, I was just agreeing with them and just going along with what they said. Because I was like, well, you got to tell them something. And even when they came here to prison and interrogated me, they were in the street clothes acting like they didn't, they were just talking to me when in retrospect they were actually interrogating me again. And I know for a fact that, that interrogation and I used, because they were here in Wisconsin, they're all Colorado-based. So all that is like null and void, but still, they're going to try to use all this stuff against me. But I know that from that interrogation to the first one, and all that was like a coercive type psychological intimidation of someone that, had never been in that situation before, and they just used that to their advantage.
Well, Chris, what you witnessed firsthand is is a game. It's like getting back to the old biblical days where you've got the big Roman soldier in the pen with the little guy, and you're fighting for your life, and you don't know what to expect, but that's a terrible analogy, and I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, you just didn't know what was going on, and it's a game. That's what I tell so many people. This is a game that they're playing. You are the prey. They're the hunter. You're the prey, and they've got you exactly where they want you, and most times they're going to get what they want, because you know what? They keep you for hours. They deprive you of your basic needs. And as every second that you're with them in that chair and they're bearing down on you, your mind is actually deteriorating. Your mind is playing games against you. And that's why we have so many times where people give confessions for things that they just did not do. And it's because, you know what? They want to get out of there. They want to just tell them what they need to know, what they're asking, what they're interested in, so they can get out and go home. Well, you know what? The thing, guess what doesn't happen? They don't go home. And their life is forever changed. So it's...
And then it was like, after I told them what they wanted to hear, then they offered me food.
Exactly.
A little strange. But the thing I know, like when you're talking about playing a game, is when the TBI agent and the FBI agent, like when the TBI person, the woman, when she like questioned me for hours, and then after those hours of interrogation, she puts me on a polygraph. And then I'm like, exhausted at this point. And then after that, like, I'm sitting in there alone, and I hear them. It's because the film intercom doesn't pick it up. And I hear them outside the door. The FBI agent comes up to, "Oh, how did you do?" And she said, "Oh, he did pretty good, but I think we get some more out of him." And they come in with this game face, saying, "Okay, you lied." I'm thinking to myself, wait, I thought you just said it pretty good. And I didn't question about it. I just believe what she said that they said I made it. But I know for a fact she said, "You did pretty good, but I think we get some more out of him." Like, I'll only think about this stuff way after it happened.
All right, Chris,
like, wow.
Chris, that's a little game. And I can tell you for a fact that they did not administer the polygraph in the proper way. You should have been on the top of your game, mentally, physically, spiritually, when they gave you that polygraph. You should have had a good night's rest. You should have before they gave you that polygraph. So I don't trust the polygraph. I don't trust the results, and they use that as a hammer over your head to scare you, because the polygraph scares everyone because of its reputation. We can talk more about that later.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking another call. I think got like 30 seconds left, but I know that God can lead me on how to write this thing up to get it back. And I just thank you for helping me and just going into that discovery. I mean, you don't have to do it, but you're doing it. And I just believe that you got some information on your heart that's really gonna break this thing open too.
Good. We're with you.
All right, he got cut off.
All right.
And this is where his story unravels. He starts talking about trauma, about shock, about how he didn't know what he was saying, as if murder was confusion, not choice. He blames the detectives, the process, the system, anyone but himself. He calls the interrogation coercive, says the agents were playing games. But here's the thing, the only game that was ever played was the one he created. When he wrapped his hands around the people who loved him most, that wasn't confusion. That was clarity twisted into evil. And yet even now, he talks like a victim of circumstance, like he just signed the wrong paper and ended up in a cage. Every time he says they use that to their advantage, he's trying to make you forget what he did to his wife, to those two little girls who trusted their father more than anything. But the real shock isn't his excuses. It's how comfortable he sounds making them.
Not exactly. The audio feed carried a faint whisper. Too soft to identify, not quite human, not quite mechanical. A glitch? A voice? A breath? One guard kept tapping his headphones like they were malfunctioning. But the sound didn't stop. Chris nodded toward the corner of the room. "Okay," he said softly. "I'll tell them." The investigator leaned closer. "Tell who?" he murmured to himself. Chris lifted his head, eyes unfocused, like he was looking through the wall, through the monitor, through everyone watching. Then he said the words that made every man in that room shiver. "They think you're gone. But you're not, are you?" A guard whispered. Who was he talking to? No one answered. Chris kept speaking low, deliberate, unsettlingly calm. "You kept the letter. I know you did. And you kept the other thing too. The thing about the baby." He paused. "You never wanted them to know." The investigator stepped closer to the screen, feeling heat build behind his ribs. Was this an act? A rehearsed manipulation? A psychotic break? Or was he addressing someone specific? Chris turned his head slowly toward the camera. as if he suddenly remembered it existed. Then he smiled. Not a wide smile, not a friendly smile. A small, crooked shape like someone tugging a mask back into place. "You're listening," he said. "Good." The whispering in the feed built for a moment. Static, or something pretending to be static, before disappearing entirely. Chris leaned forward on his bunk, elbows on his knees. "Tell the investigator," he murmured, "that he's late." The room went still. The investigator's pulse dropped into a cold, heavy drumbeat. Late for what? A guard swallowed hard. "Sir, what does he mean?" But Chris answered first, still staring into the camera, still smiling that thin, unsettling arc. "She's already here." The investigator's skin tightened. He glanced toward the hallway, an instinct more than logic. Someone out there? Someone inside the prison? Someone who had a reason to fear the truth? Or someone who wanted Chris what's to keep talking? Whatever the meaning, the chapter ahead would crack something open. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Dark Matters True Crime so you stay with the investigation as it deepens. The investigator didn't move at first. Chris's words hung in the air, dense enough to warp the room's temperature. "She's already here." The guards glanced toward the hallway like children checking under their beds. Slow, hesitant, hoping nothing stared back. The fluorescent lights flickered once, the way they sometimes do in old buildings. But tonight it felt like a warning slip of static down the spine. The investigator stepped into the hall. It was empty, but the air? It carried a perfume. Faint, misplaced, like something lifted from the memory of a hotel room. Sweet but not comforting. A scent you recognize not because you wore it, but because someone else did. Someone you shouldn't remember. He walked down the corridor, each step tightening the quiet. A shadow lingered at the far end, thin, unmoving, like a column of darker air. He blinked. It vanished. A guard jogged up behind him, breath quick. "Sir, this place is giving me the crawlies. What exactly are we looking for?" The investigator didn't answer. Instead, he replayed the moment in Chris's cell. The whisper, the corner Chris spoke to, the mention of the baby, and now a woman? He turned back to the monitoring room. Chris hadn't moved. He sat on his bunk as if carved from stone, eyes fixed on the floor. When the investigator stepped into view through the camera, Chris finally looked up. "Did you see her?" he asked softly. The investigator pressed the intercom button. "Who are you talking about, Chris?" Chris shook his head like the question bored him. "You know who," he murmured. "No," the investigator said. "I don't." Chris smiled again. The same subtle, too quiet smile that seemed stitched into him. "She came back because you opened the door." A guard whispered. "What door?" Nobody opened anything. And that's when the investigator noticed it. A small envelope had been slid under Chris's cell door during the few minutes he'd been gone. No one admitted to placing it there. No one had seen anyone walk the hall. Yet the envelope waited on the concrete, its corner bent like it had been dropped in haste. Not from sadness, but from the echo of something real. "But I didn't listen. I shoved her away. And now she doesn't let me forget." The investigator swallowed. Hard. "There's no record of anyone confronting you that night." Chris opened his eyes. Pale, flat, familiar. "That's because the DA erased her. Every trace." The investigator stepped back. "That envelope, the handwriting, the figure on the camera. What does she want now?" Chris whispered. "To finish what she started. To make the truth come out." The guard paled. "Is she dangerous?" Chris laughed again, that soft, unsettling sound. "Not to me. Not anymore." He lifted his gaze. "But she's looking for you now." The fluorescent light above them flickered. Once, then again. The investigator didn't turn around. He didn't want to see whether someone was standing behind him. Where are you watching us from? Please tell us in the comment below, and remember to like and subscribe to Dark Matters True Crime so you never miss the next twist crawling out of the shadows.
Chris?
You remember us?
Yes. Yes.
See?
Okay. I see it. I just put it in a moment there.
You look
Good to see
like
you.
different.
They, Well, get a haircut every 2 months, so I just told him just to buzz pretty much everything off and all that. So
trying to think, did you have a
yes,
tea last time? Okay.
that day I had like a little single blade razor, so I just kind of, you know, like go fast as double. You just kind of
Just do the best you can, huh?
just gotta go with that.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How about you guys?
Good.
Good.
I did not expect to see this. That's for sure.
Surprised.
Yes.
Well, let me put some fears aside. We're not here for what you might think we might be here for.
Well, they didn't know what this. That's a computer room. I was like, I didn't know we had a computer room.
Without computers.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you remember, I talked to you, Tammy talked to you, Dave talked to you. We're all from Colorado. And so the last time we talked to you, it's a different situation, right? Our investigation was open and your case was open. That's completely different now. So your case is completely closed. Nothing about what we're going to talk about today has anything to do with an open investigation. So we're not here to get more charges on you or get any statements from you that are going to jam you up anymore, right? That's all done. So all of our cases are closed and the court case is closed. So there's nothing that we're going to talk about today that's going to get you in any type of trouble at all. And so that's how I wanted to make sure you knew that's not why we're here.
Okay.
But why we are here. So three of us work from three different agencies, right? Quite a bit different. CBI, FBI, and Frederick PD, different goals. And the things that happened with you kind of all brought us together. And as the months have passed on since everything happened, we just keep in touch with each other and we keep talking to each other. And we've all separately kind of said, did Chris seem unique to you? And me and Tammy have talked about this, Dave and I have talked about this. Did Chris's situation seem different to you? And we keep having that conversation. We can't quite put our finger on it, right? We think that your life leading up to all the things that happened were very interesting to us. And for me personally, I don't know if you remember, but one of the last things you told me was, hey, Graham, I'm sorry that I started lying to you. And that stuck with me for the last couple months. It's ingrained in my head, right? I've never, ever worked a case like this where someone told me that ever. And so as I walked away, I thought, Chris is different. Chris is a little bit unique in that regard. So in talking with Tammy and talking with Dave, I said, what did you feel like when it all went down? When we were there, we were talking to you guys, and we all kind of, in our own different way and in our own different wording, said it all happened a bit too quick for us, right? So when we saw you last, we were talking about your family, about your parents, about everyone. And then the next thing you know, for me and Tammy and for Dave, all of a sudden some patrol officers came in and arrested you. And that was far quicker than we had hoped it would happen. And you understand why that happened, and we understand why that happened. But it left us with 1,000 questions that we didn't get to ask. And then even more importantly, I think it probably left you with 1,000 things that you didn't get to talk about with us. I don't know if you feel that way or not, but, and so that's why we're here today. We wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit more about everything, I think there's a lot of things that you didn't get to talk about. And so, that's why we're here. And it sticks with me that to this day, there's not one person that's told me, I saw it coming. I knew Chris was like that. I knew it. Not one person. So it's interesting to me, right? Not one. So we want to talk a little bit about that. Some of the people that we work with, your family, Shanann's family, have said, if you get to talk to Chris, would you tell him something for me? So we have that to talk about today, and it's good. I think you'll like it. I think it will give you some closure. And so really that's why we're here. Are you available to talk to us?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So off the bat, if you have any questions, just tell us.
Okay.
If there's something that you don't want to talk about, that's okay. We might press you a little bit. Okay, we might say, well, do you mind if we just maybe then ask one question? If something makes you uncomfortable, just tell us. If we need to take any bathroom breaks, we can take bathroom breaks. For anything like that. And we'll take bathroom breaks and water breaks ourselves too. So then, is there anything about your schedule today that makes it that you can't talk to us?
No, that there was like a pass for this and the AM and the PM.
Yeah, they reserved the room the whole day,
Oh,
just
okay.
in case.
That's just what they do.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know if that was like 2 separate things or something.
I think you have to go back for lunch to get counted for or something.
Oh.
Accounted for.
Yeah, I think
11:30.
lunch is like 11, but they're counting like 1:15. So
So in general, how is it here?
it's a lot different from Colorado.
Is it?
It's
Good or bad?
It's better, I think, because I mean, it's here. I'm actually around other people. I mean, in Colorado, it was just like I was segregated, and it was like pounding on the walls all night, screaming, and just just telling me
From other people?
Oh,
Really?
they're just telling me like how I should kill myself and like what they're gonna do to me, and just like all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
It was today. This is a lot different because I mean, people here don't seem to. It's not like they don't care, but it's just kind of like they don't like judge